Welcome, everyone, returning and new subscribers. I'll give you all a moment to enter. Let's see what's going on because I noticed that the energy was quite interesting, quite intense here. The moon did go into Libra, which is all about being diplomatic and balancing things out. And it just stepped out of the sign of Virgo, which is all about analyzing. So, right before you bring things into balance, there's like this final moment where you put it all together to then come to this space to transform it, which is Scorpio. And then we enter the full moon in Sagittarius, which is all about seeing the truth of it all. Sagittarius is also connected to the ninth house, which is the child past life. So there could be some things, some balancing that's happening for the inner child at this very moment, which could be quite intense because you're realizing the root of it all. And the root of it all, like you hear most cases, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off, right? So, welcome everyone. This is the reason why it's titled What is Going On, because we're about to see what's what. Okay. So, I connect my heart and soul to the heart and soul of Mama Universe and Papa Universe. I connect my heart and soul to the heart and soul of my ancestors and spirit guides that guide me and protect me. I connect my heart and soul to the heart and soul of the gods and goddesses that flow through me, as me, for you and I collective to use our mind's eye to see in connection to the Most High. And though it is Wednesday, grant me the wisdom to relay these messages to the collective. I know it's going to be quite a ride, quite a journey with these messages at this moment. But I trust, believe, and know that this would be for the highest purpose of all. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Got to get the extra bells up in here today because I love. So let's see. I dropped it all on the phone. Okay. So with that, there could be communication that's coming in where you may want to catch a breather first, do some deep meditation before stepping into it. But let's see what we got going on here. I'm going to start with this deck. Yeah. All right, here we go. Message for the collective. I split the deck. We have love begins. So that's a beautiful message starting off. In the center of it all, love is beginning. Unconditional love, not this foolishness that's been going on where people, feel like if you do this and that for them, then that shows that you love them. No, that's not what love is at all. That's not what love is. And this is what the Age of Aquarius is for, to remove all of that which is not unconditional love. So let's see. What do we have for the collective? What's this? Look at that. Harmony and strategy. Number 21. 621, which is the day before into the summer solstice. And this is also the last day of Gemini season, which is connected to the 10 of Swords. Now, the full moon in Sag will be the 10 of Wands. So those would be the polar opposite energies. You got the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Wands. After that, you got the Ace of Swords, which speaks of triumph through adversity. And then you have the Ace of Wands, which speaks of enlightenment, being a humanitarian because of the triumph that you have experienced through adversity here. And it's also speaking of a rebirth as well. Really get into this space of knowing who is that I am, that I am, that I am. So there's a deeper connection to the Most High as well. Okay, well, let's see. Yep, it's leading into another 6 here. We have material and spiritual prosperity. And look at that, the base chakra. Conflict and defeat for some when it came to the root of it all. And today is galactic signature, Red Galactic Dragon. And the Red Galactic Dragon, I had it pulled up here earlier. The Red Galactic Dragon is the following. It represents the root source of life, the nurturance and support of primary being, and within it are found the primal waters of unity. This is where your deepest roots receive true nourishment. Red Dragon is the energy of form contained within the formlessness of the primordial sea. Primal trust means making choices with no guarantees, knowing that divine nurturance will provide what is needed for your journey. It means making choices moment by moment, which is also Two of Pentacles card for the Zen Tarot. Moment to moment, implicitly trusting your innate steering mechanism of heart knowing. Primal trust implies surrendering to the will of the divine self, letting go of what your ego deems to be control of the outcomes in your life. It means deeply trusting the process that are at work within your present spiral of evolution. The energy of the red dragon asks you to embrace the depths of of your receptivity. Perhaps you have been taught that it is better to give than to receive. Close that. Giving is a powerful way to learn how to receive, but it's not the whole picture. Similar to, um, doing things to be successful. This life is not just about the material. It's mainly the spiritual, because that's where you have eternal life. That's where you have unconditional love. The material has an actual lifespan to it, right? So here we go. There's a circuit of completion in giving and receiving that happens within you and in your external world at the same time. If you trust unconditionally in the giving, you are not attached to how the gift is received. When you freely give, you fill your cup with sweet waters, Asheo Shun, which you can then offer innocently and purely to another. So this is what I mean. That doesn't mean doing things to people please, or because society says you're supposed to do this so that you can remain in this. Let me tell you something. It's the age of Aquarius. The Most High does not have any more time for this harmony in any type of connection, whether if it's family, lovers, friends, work. If it's not unconditional love, and if it's not built on the premises of harmony, of a strong solid foundation of harmony, it will go. Okay, so know on one level that your gift is poured out universally, regardless of how it appears to be received. However, when the gift comes from the ego, it is limited by expectations and conditions. Love just is. It is neither given nor taken. Rather, it is simply discovered. It is simply discovered and allowed. There's so many notifications are coming in right now, and there was no notifications coming in before this. So there's going to be a lot of the thing is, humanity is bound by spirits day in and day out, day in and day out. Especially if you're one of the chosen ones, meaning that you have been elected by the Most High to really go through these cycles, to really shift it and share your story, so that way we begin to now be the example of what unconditional love is. It just is. And what we see is the just is card is Isis energy. You feel me? So the balance of the scales. The balance of the scales. Because if you're doing things to receive it back, your heart is nowhere near being light as a feather. Nowhere near it. Okay? There's a lot of justice that's going to be delivered to these karmics. And I can sense it. I can feel whatever it is that's coming into this realm to shift humanity is not a game. It's not a game. Okay? So let's see. Some of you here are being guided to rest and rejuvenate so that way you can meditate. Definitely going out in nature to meditate as well. Okay, because as you can see how he's dressed in that blue here, right? But you see this dark energy that's on the shoulders as well. It's actually in the camera showing up darker than what it is because that's actually green as I'm looking at it here. You got another 4 at the bottom of the deck. You are definitely ascending here, okay? Because after this is the 5 of Cups where you really analyze, the use and action of your will when it comes to things that have to be transformed. There's going to be a level where you step into discontent, boredom, anger, but feel what you feel, right? But make sure you separate yourself from those who have no idea what's going on because they choose to continue to be ignorant. Ignorance is not bliss. Everything's being thrown into humanity's face day in and day out. There is no reason other than being ignorant to sit there and say, oh, no, this is not happening, or 11:11 on a timer right now. Okay, so what do you have to tell the collective here? Because this is also Jupiter and Libra. Okay, Jupiter speaks about, integrating your life path into society. But there has to be this analyzation of the balance in partnerships in order for you to even have that life force, to even step into that power of all and who that you are. So now that we're approaching this full moon in Sag, we already know full moons are all about completions and forgiveness. So right now, I can sense that the energy is intense because it's another part of the shift right before the completing of the cycle. It's kind of like nitpicking at the knit drafts and shit. Knit drafts is nitpicking like the final things in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, love. You have here that came out attachment. See, rest and rejuvenate, because those things that have been causing you to step into this world of attachment, because love is not that. Love, it has nothing to do with attachment. Everybody better take that fucking mask off when it comes to when they think love has anything to do with being attached to somebody. This ain't the time for it, bro. So, again, a lot of you, well, us in general, have picked up that habit. You know what I'm saying? From those that we have been raised around. Because the 9th house Sagittarius energy speaks of the child past life. Now, this doesn't have to be your past life as a child. It could be a past life that your soul is connected to from another lifetime, however far back that may go. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Quite a few messages. Okay, you have, look at this. The door to personal healing and happiness is connected to this suffering and silence. There's people that's going to look at you a certain way because they don't know what you got going through your mind, your heart. They will rather judge you. But that ain't your place, because you're not even bringing judgment. You're bringing misjudgment. So this is connected to those who will sit here and badmouth you because of the process you're going through, because they're not comfortable around you. For some, this is even siblings, because this is connected to Gemini's energy, and this would be Mars and Gemini. Okay, so a lot of like the way that you would want to, take action on what it is that you're thinking and your perception and relate it to the outside world has something to do with where you came from. And as you have decided as the chosen one to remove those chains, now you're being looked at like who she thinks she is. Y'all better watch yourself and how y'all come at somebody. I don't care who it is, mama, papa, brother, sister, cousin, but I don't care who it is. Gotta stop doing that. You don't know who it is that you're looking at and what process and what mission they have on this planet. For all you know, they saving your fucking soul from sitting here being stuck in the void. Then you have community, recognition, and reward. Blossoming abundance. But being at the gate here, see the Crown Chakra. You got the Crown Chakra coming out with the gate. You have the key. You have the key, and you know you do. A lot of you have the key to the door to personal healing and happiness. But right now, you could really, be experiencing some suffering here in silence because you know what it is. For some, it has something to do with you not being recognized for the work that you've done. And when I say the work that you've done, it's like the unconditional love that you provided. But that moment right there where you notice that's for you to analyze and say, you know what? They didn't appreciate me anyway, so that means I need to go elsewhere. Simple as that. And forgive them because they don't know what they doing or who they talking to. And that leads into the other aspect. Doesn't matter the age of a person. Wisdom doesn't have anything to do with age. You got 5-year-olds having more experiences than a 44-year-old already. And knowing it too. Okay. So let me look at these numbers as I put them down here. The way I put them down here. Let me see. Let's look at 459. Most High, come through. Thank you for keeping me calm too, because 459. This is speaking of these, those what? Let me see. Those what? Let me look at 954. Let me look at it the other way around. As a matter of fact, it's picking up some verses here. Then there will be, this is Daniel 2:40. Then there will be a fourth kingdom as strong as iron, and as much as iron crushes and shatters all things, so like iron that breaks in pieces, it will crush and break all these in pieces. So whatever it is that you're suffering in silence about, the moment that you deliver it to the Most High and you choose to walk through that door to personal healing and happiness, because these downloads that are coming in for a lot of you is the key to the garden to walk through, so that way you can experience your blossoming abundance being recognized and rewarded around those who celebrate you, not tolerate you. Then you have Daniel 2:44. In the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed, and that kingdom will not be left for another people. It will crush and put an end to all these kingdoms, but it will itself endure forever. Moving on. I don't even need to do it backwards. 934. You see? Some of you may even you have a white patch of skin or bright spot on your skin that allows the Most High to recognize you. But this could also be on the reverse side of it, where it says resulting from fire, resulting from inflammation of the skin, possible sign of leprosy. See what I'm saying? Like this ain't the time for the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, people feel like because they're in this position of authority. Here's one thing I'm going to say. If you have been gifted with children, your children are not your possession. That is a gift from the Most High. However you want to call it. Some will say universes, some will say different galaxies. Wherever it's from, it's not just from you being a human being. Because how many stories do you hear where people plan to have children but don't? And part of that reason is because whoever it is that you're wanting to have that child with, you shouldn't even be having that. And that's also a part of where we're at today. Certain connections aren't able to conceive because that's not the person. Enough with the mediocrity, with the lack of unconditional love or the knowledge thereof. There's no more of that. Okay. Let's continue. I got you, third eye. Let's look at 373, which will be blossoming abundance, community, and recognition and reward. This speaks of no help. See? It says no help. And some of you about to be elevated by the Most High and the four pillars themselves. Then they gonna realize who you are. Then they gonna want to say, oh, this, that, can you help me with this, that? Use your discernment. Use your discernment. Trust the vibration of your body from a higher perspective, from the wise one, the higher self within you, and respond accordingly. When these people who didn't give a fuck about you or what you were doing damn near even cause blocks and obstacles in your life, feeling like you should be somewhere at a certain period, you are not the Most High. The Most High determines when, who, what, when, where, as well as you having the control of that too. But the Most High controls how that happens, not a human being. We're just a fragment of that higher energy. We really could connect to that on a much deeper level. But until this world connects to one another and we really start exercising this law of one, which means cultures go out the window. Religions go out the window. You learning to govern thyself steps in. But that governing of self comes from you and the connection to the Most High along with everyone else. Don't forget to like the video upon entering, y'all. Then we have the Crown Chakra, the garden and the gate, 730. Now that's connected to Saturn and Leo's energy, 5 of Wands, 730. But let me look at this number here. If you're in here not liking the video, you obviously one of those people who just in here lurking and your ass need to go. Now we got 730, cedar tree. And that's for this message to get out to everyone else that's out there who needs this message. And again, if you're in here not liking the message because you're one of those who don't want the message to get out to certain people, and you're connected to those who don't support others, because in supporting or putting the information out there means that they will have to change their life around. See, a lot of people don't support what some of y'all do because it's going to force them to have to change who they are. So they will rather support someone else's business that's sitting here doing fuckery, ain't doing nothing to elevate humanity. Cedar tree. Those are very big trees, very powerful, mystic trees. You have the key, okay? But you're standing at the gate. Some of you, that's the gate of death, of transformation. Okay? Welcome, Fatima. So, let me get some animal spirit messages here. He said money is triggering the hate. That was Jadakiss. Here we go. What's the message for the collective at this time? Stingray at the bottom of the deck, which speaks of the Kundalini energy, which is also part of the galactic signature of the day here, of the Red Galactic Dragon. And that would be the Red Galactic Dragon is the conscious self, and the higher self of it is the Red Serpent. Okay? And it says here, in the great mystery, flint and tinder, let me see, I am flint and tinder of the sacred fire, reads the meditation for Red Serpent. In the great mystery, flint and tinder represents the instinctive combustion that initiates movement in the physical body toward union with spirit. When flint and tinder are brought together, the spark of divinity awakens and ignites the fire of your essence. Red Serpent invites the purifying spark of the sacred fire, the Kundalini, to align and integrate your body, mind, and spirit. Red Serpent can help you uncover apparent blockages in specific chakras to clear and align them. If you are working on a process of purification, invite Red Serpent to assist you. Red Serpent's symbol is the serpent representing healing and wholeness. This Mayan medicine can remove toxins, rejuvenate, and transform dis-ease. Red Serpent is also known by the Maya as the Kundalini, the energy that moves up from the base of the spine and out through the crown chakra, which is similar to the message of the stingray. But now we have here the black egg coming out. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's more than likely the fifth chakra, the throat chakra. Yeah. Speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. That's the suffering and silence energy too. And that's what's blocking you from opening the gate. You have the key already placed where it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome. It's where it's supposed to be. It's just time to unlock it now. A lot of these thoughts that you're having at this current moment that's causing this intensity where you may even slightly step into this rage or anger is because that's part of your truth. For some of you, you have parents who talk to other siblings about you and they act like you can't sense that. What type of shit is that, first and foremost? That's a karmic issue. That's something, left behind and unresolved. And now that in itself has a ripple effect into the relationships that you encounter. But you want to sit here and talk to a sibling about another sibling and act like that shit is just something you should be doing. Like that's not gonna look right in the eyes of the Most High. Never will. Okay. Let's get another message here. The hyena. This speaks about a truth that you have, but sometimes you cover it with humor. That's all good and dandy, but make sure when you're doing that it's because you handled it and not playing yourself about it. Okay. This is also connected to the first quarter, which speaks of challenges, commitments, and confidence. The cobra and the swan. This is strong segment energy right here. And then you got the swan, which speaks of unconditional love. So for some of you who are wanting to connect to unconditional love, then you got the lizard at the bottom of the deck. Let me see the lizard's message in here. But some of you who are wanting to connect to unconditional love, you got to handle whatever this is that's stemming at the root of it all. For some of you, you don't want to say certain things or do certain things or feel a certain way because of who people are. But let me tell you something. They didn't give a fuck when they was talking about you, though. The lizard, instinctual, sensitive to subtle. The dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception, as if it has a sixth sense. The lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and see what is yet to manifest. And then when you tell people that, they think you just sitting here blabbing out the mouth. All right. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, and stimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights in big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. We're going to get into these tarot cards today. It's on page 127. It's the second time I'm seeing 127 today. And the last time it was coming up, I still had it, up here. As a matter of fact, this shit is still up here right now. Where is it at right now? Let me see. Believe in your ability. 127 is a message from the divine realm that everything you should be doing in life must be according to God's will. That's what that number is all about. And anything I say, that's what I'm saying. A lot of things that you hold on to and you suppress it, it becomes toxic within you. And this is why this combustion may happen sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And part of the reason why, again, some don't express themselves about certain truths. It don't have to be to that person. Shit, this is the beauty of YouTube and Instagram and all these lives and all these opportunities you have to share your story. Because if you can't share your story with those that you want to fix the situation with, then you let them go. You share your story with those who want to hear it. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. You feel me? So when you're in balance of the lizard's energy, look at that. Under that, you got the snake, which also speaks of like the flower of life having the key to creativity. Artistic, telepathic, and spiritual is the lizard when you're in balance. When you're out of balance, you're elusive, non-committal, and flaky. Now, this could be connected to those who you have around you who you know are non-committal and flaky, and it makes you non-committal and flaky in the things that you are designed to do. No more of that. To bring into balance a creative project. Now, I'm going to look at the cobra right there. Pause, waiting, the inner teacher. Because this is all about, the shift happening. That's why these gods and goddesses or gurus that you read about, most of them are able to tap into their greatest power because of a level of patience that they have. And it's unfortunate that you will have people that are jealous and envious of how you move, when how you move is connected to the Most High. Because how belong to source, right? The cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When you're in balance of this cobra's energy, you're a student of life, humble and wise. When you're out of balance, you're a know-it-all and egocentric. And for some of you too, when it comes to being out of balance, because you're surrounded by those who feel like you know it all, but dummy, you the one that feels like I know it all, so I must then. If we're going to flip this around. Because when you're out of balance is when you're around those who don't, again, celebrate you. They tolerate you or talk shit about you. No more of that. To bring into balance, taking a class and studying. This is on page 141. I'm going to look at 141 here. This energy right now is to my Lord is exalted. 141. This energy right now is really to move whatever it is that really has your suffering in silence. Because again, we are approaching an amazing full moon in the sign of Sag. You know what I'm saying? And that energy, okay, where it's going to be located, it's going to be at the foot of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the wounded healer. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity right now with this full moon to heal whatever it is, but also healing comes from the use of herbs, use of natural things, use of meditation, use of higher education, and educating self, whatever it is that comes to mind, or whatever signs and synchronicities is a story that's being given to you by the Most High, so you can put it together to figure out which keys you're supposed to use for this lock, so you can open up that gate and walk through it. Let's get some tarot cards. As a matter of fact, let's see what energies we have here. What energies do we have with us? What energies do we have with us at this current moment? Christ. Well, what do you know? I am willing to forgive. And that's why most of you get to this state of anger, because you know you about to forgive them, for they don't know what they do. And unfortunately, some do know what they doing, but they think what they doing is the right thing to do because they feel like they have an authority over you. Remember, what is love? Not attachment. The Sacred Heart of Christ reminds us that our relationship with God can unfold through the human experience of feeling. When we embody the archetype of Christ, we learn to be in the world where only love is real, and that this love emanates from the inside out. Even those days of where the masculine feels like their wife is the servant or their servant, that shit is done and over with. There's judgment coming for that too. I said what I said. What leap of faith did it take for Jesus, Yeshua, however you want to say who he is to you, as he peered down during his crucifixion and forgave humanity for its cruelty, selfishness, the misjudgment of selfishness and indifference. It says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Perhaps more unilaterally, forgive us, God, for we know not who we really are. Wow. Okay. That did it for me. That did it for me. A lot of times we encounter these situations because we don't fully take ownership as to who we are and why we are here. And we allow the ignorance of others to filter through us when that ain't even something that we here to filter out of us to begin with, which is another thing. When it comes to people venting with you like that, you better ask permission. Begin assessing the Christ presence already within you. When life feels weighted down by pain and suffering, our empathic Christ within bears the cross of compassion. The more we open ourselves to feeling the depths of despair, the wider open we are to feeling the exhilaration of joy and enthusiasm. If we are numb in our if we are numb in feeling our pain or that of another, then we are at best muted in our ability to feel or show any true love or joy. This week's energy is wild and dreams are too. Yep, 4:40 on the timer right now on the clock. A lot of you through your dream state, you're really seeing who's who have been your hidden enemies or had hidden motives when it came to their role in your life. But again, that's also connected to them for not knowing who they really are. So they get attacked by these spirits that are designed to evolve you, not connect to you, evolve you. And you evolve by being the observer, basically not stooping to somebody's level. You gonna have your moment where you feel how you feel. Again, how it comes from source. It's almost like sources is pulling you through certain things too. People ask, where is source when people are going through something? Right there. That's why you're going through it. So keep going. Because it's taking you to your promised land. To engage, assess, become the observer, looking at your life, reflecting in the mirror of the world around you. Can you forgive and yet forgive again? Today, I felt like right before this, like I had to really calm myself down several times. Because I've noticed how many times I've forgiven certain people who were supposed to be the main ones supporting me, but y'all the main ones looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. Or maybe you see a side of me that I really don't want to show, but because the spirit you're connected to that's having you look at me a certain way, this is why you see what you see. You feel me? Can you forgive and yet forgive again? Through the willingness to forgive, we begin finding the gratitude for the what is, freeing us to make different choices about where we focus our attention and energy. With forgiveness, we allow others to be in their free will so we can focus on our own, thus choosing to draw healthy boundaries, disconnecting, reconnecting, or otherwise transforming our relationships. Turning the other cheek, don't be soft. That's not what that means. It don't mean get slapped in the face at all. Turning the other cheek helps us refocus on the only thing we have any real control over ourselves. So that means looking at the situation for what it is, turning your cheek and go that way. Not turn your cheek so they can slap the other one. No. Some people really be in churches preaching that shit like that. That shit is disgusting to me. It says here, the Sacred Heart of Christ is forever grateful of its primary relationship with God. And this is where this is where the praise of slavery also